All right, what is up, everybody? I'm here with these duelists. We're gonna do some combos of this Spright deck. This is the deck that Dylan Fox won the Duluth regional with, and this is the creator right here. All credit where it's due.
President and CEO of the Republic of Spright.
But he is qualified to give combos in Fox's stead. So.
Yeah, I mean, I did come up with the combos after all. So.
This is facts.
So this combo is a pretty simple one. It's pretty basic. Kit plus blue. So that we can go ahead and get to that. And 3 Nibiru's, because your hand's offered. So your normal kit, special. I should probably figure out zones for right here, because it's really hard to do upside down. We're going to special summon Jet, and so there's 2 options here whenever you special summon Jet. If you already have access to starter or smashers, you can actually just search red here and play around Nib. But also to play around Nib, you can search starter. But if you want like the biggest inboard and you're just like don't think your opponent's playing Nibiru or whatever, generally you just search smashers.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It just depends on how you want to go about in your combo.
Usually I find myself going for the starter, like if I don't have access to red at all, just because like you want to play around Nib pretty much all the time. Because you want to lose the Nib and like evenly pretty much. Like, yeah. It's really
so I want to talk about like zone placement real quick because
really important.
Here in a minute, we're about to summon Spright, right? So you want this zone generally to be free.
Okay.
These 2 zones are pretty, well, especially these 2 zones are pretty much free the entire time. So like if you want something to be left on your board, like for example, if you want to summon red, generally you want to summon it in the closest to the extra deck zone. So that's just some information for the people out there in case they, curious about zones.
Sounds good.
Go on to Sprind. Sprind effect, we're going to dump the Angler. Probably could have prepared this a little bit better, but we're doing this last minute. You dump the Angler effect. You can summon out the Beavers. The Beavy boys. Okay? Like I said, if you did starter, red would be here, so you could summon the Beaver like over here or somewhere like that. But, we're just going for the biggest board possible, so we're adding the Smashers. So, yeah. Overlay these 2. For Gigantic and use Gigantic's effect. This card can also be Kuraz. It can literally be either one of them. It actually just doesn't even matter because you just summon
the other one off of Gigantic.
Yeah, like you just summon Kid off of a Gigantic and you link it away, and then you search Kid off of Nerval. So it's literally the same thing. So you special summon, then you link these 2. It's really hard to do upside down when zones matter. So we go into IP and then we're gonna use Kid's effect to dump Nerval. And then Nerval will add Kuraz. So here's your board now.
It is important to add like this here now because he's about to go into Blossom.
Yeah. So generally you want to banish these 2 because you're going to be bringing back these off of Revolt because they have effects. And like you want to like leave the Beavers in grave for fun, like because they're like you're not going to bring them back generally. So we're going to summon Blossom here. Then we're going to use Blossom's effect to special summon Kuraz. And then we're going to link these 2 into Bear Brum. And then you get the Blossom draw. So like let's say you draw like a starter, you can put one of these nibs back, right? Then you use Kuraz. Generally it doesn't really matter what you banish from here. I like leaving a Beaver in grave, but you have a Beaver over here because you can always bring back Beaver, and then it gives you 2 beasts. It could be relevant.
And what's cool is Blossom can also like unplug these out of your hand as well.
Yeah. Okay. So the reason we summoned Bear Brum over here is because we're going to summon Double Dragon Lords here. Because Pit Knight has to be summoned to this zone because it points up. But if you summon Double Dragon Lords to the zone under IP, it allows you to have 2 cards that can activate to trigger the Pit Knight.
Yeah.
So then you turn these 2 into the Pit Knight, and then you search the Revolt, put one of these back, and like we said, this is a blank card, so you set these 2. You have a target for this to like banish, and then you have the Revolt, and you have the full combo. This is full combo. This is your inboard generally. This can also be generally like if you want to play around evenly match, you can search starter, and then when they enter battle phase, starter for Carrot, and then Carrot will have something to tribute as well.
That's really good.
The only thing you need to remember though, if you do that line, it does turn off your Revolt. So generally, if you're, if they do evenly match you, you know, you have to choose if you think that, like, maybe you should have started during your end phase if you haven't used a starter yet, because you don't want to lock you on your opponent's turn so you can't revolt them.
Well,
or use this for IP.
You would,
or for
you
Apollo.
would have to start whenever you activate this effect because he blocks you from summoning like at all except Tri-Brigades afterward.
Right.
Essentially.
Yep.
For the people out there, what do you most commonly summon with IP? Because you end with IP here.
Apollo.
Yeah.
Almost literally every time.
I don't really like Abramax right now.
No, because of Scareclaw. Like, if Scareclaw didn't exist, Abramax would be really good.
Yeah.
But the reason that, like, Apollo's so strong with this board is obviously you can do it for 3 if you want to, but Pit Knight makes whatever their first monster 0 attack, so it's really hard for them to beat over a 1600 attack Apollo, especially if you're playing against Kashatira,
Yeah,
because
that's just
you lock the first monster into the zone, and if they don't have Birth, they kind of can't play through it. And even if they have Birth, you can like
Yeah.
revolt it or something.
And you also have like this.
You have Double Dragon Lords as well.
And this is opening 2 cards, this combo.
Yeah.
So this is the main combo. Is there anything else that you want to spew out here? Or
Do you want to see how the inboard goes through a double angler? Because I feel like that's like what happened to a lot of people.
Like if they open Double Angler?
Like double angler and a name or something.
Yeah, we can do that. So let's say our hand is...
Oh, this is SPO. You have the 2 angler there.
Yeah, well, this could have been a little bit more prepared, but we're at locals and
the combos will work either way. It's
Yes.
all right. I'm sure the people don't mind.
they're just trying to see the content, man. So let's say this is your hand, right? So this hand is obviously awful. Like, you know, like there's no getting around this. This hand is awful, but this hand isn't unplayable, okay? So you obviously do this first, normal special effect. You search the jet. Generally, when I special jet, I generally search starter here because you need more bodies.
Exactly. Because this is the combo where like you don't have a lot.
The beavers.
Bodies. Exactly. And like you lose out on that. So it really hurts like the Tri-Brigade stuff too, because beavers like because the beavers like beasts and stuff. So like it hurts like getting.
Yeah. So link these into Spright, and then you use Spryne's effect. And this is the cool thing about the deck is that Spright can get to either engine. So you get to dump the kit, and then the kit gets to nerve all.
Like Spright is like your backup Foolish Burial. Like it's insane.
Yep. So we get it there, and then you overlay these 2. This combo can't really play on Nib, but like your hand was so bad that like
You can't play around it.
like sometimes you just can't play around stuff. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like sometimes you just have to take the Nib arrow where it comes.
It's like even if you started for the red here, you can't trigger your gigantic.
Right.
Just use this.
So here you have 2 options. So you can banish 2 here, and you lock yourself into being able to link with Tri-Brigade, right? So this is kind of stuck on the board. Your other option is using starter as the extender. So you can make the IP up here, and then you can go and do your combo. So generally, like if this is my hand, generally I just go ahead and activate this. Is this what you do?
Yes.
Yeah, that's generally what I do. Usually you can throw away a jet, or if you want to throw away like a red, if you want to get red in the graveyard or whatever.
We play 2 red anyways. Like
Yeah, so
it
like
doesn't hurt that much.
it doesn't really matter which one you summon. Just if you only play 1 character, 1 red, you don't want to summon those and just waste them because you're just going to be linking them away, right? So you take your damage or whatever. You link these 2 away. You go into your IP. And then you're in a pretty similar state to where we were in the very beginning, right? Because you're going to banish 2.
Even though you opened 2 England.
Yep. You're going to special summon this. You're going to use the effect. Special the Cuirass. See, this is where people get caught up because they're like, well, you don't actually have any Beast Warriors, but you actually just go ahead and link these 2. Yep. Into this. You get to loot 1, so let's say we do this, right? Hey, we're going to put the Angler back so later in the game we can use it.
That actually comes up a lot.
It does come up. It actually does. So we get to banish 2 here. Summon Double Dragon Lords.
And then full combo through opening 2 England.
Yep.
Well, you don't have the smashers.
You don't have smashers, but you still have 3 cards in hand, and even through this terrible, terrible hand, we still ended on revolt, 2 cards in hand, and practically full combo.
Yeah.
So,
And
then-
like after this resolves, you get the on bandage plus you get the cuirass like search to your hand. So like this card becomes live and stuff like that.
Yeah. Also, you have to think like you still have all 3 beavers in deck.
Yeah.
So your next Sprine like is basically like you have like a full deck. Like you're just like because we play 2 Sprine, and that's the reason 2 Sprine is so important because you just make it all the time.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, that's the only other combos we have to show you for you guys. If you guys want to see duel videos or anything like that, just make sure to comment down below. This deck's really sick. It's I think it's one of the best decks in the format, to be honest.
It's one of the most resilient for
Slept
sure.
on, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can play through like Nib, Ash, and like still have a board to where you don't lose.
I definitely think this deck's probably hardest matchup's Despia though.
Oh, for sure.
I think Despia's the hardest matchup, but I think Kashatir is pretty free for this deck, and I think it has a really good matchup against like the decks like Labyrinth and stuff like that. I think it has a really good matchup against those decks. So.
For sure.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for the combos. I hope the audience enjoyed, and we'll see you guys in the next video. So, Dylan Fox, who won the regional last weekend, loves you all enough that he wants to give away his box that he won. He won a booster box, and we're going to give that away to somebody in the comments. Just go down there, tell me what deck you're playing this format, and what your favorite play to make with that deck is. So, that's all you got to do. We'll pick, whatever comment, and we'll send you all the box. So, we'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.